Hello, everybody. Welcome to the D-Pad final Patreon hangout of the year. Of course, right? I've been waiting for the boiler to stop running for like 7 minutes now so that I could come in with, decently clean mic audio. And I finally gave up because it's like, okay, it's 8:20. I should jump in now. Oh, damn it. I got to fix the chat. Oh, no. It's going to be all weird. Why? Why would you be like this? Oh, I am probably desynced. Oh, I hate when it does this. Sorry about this, folks. This should only take but a moment. There we go. Hey, there we go. Oh, boy. And let me fix the syncing as well. Oh, because I had it set to that. How's that? And a little better, hopefully? I swear this thing doesn't look as bad in person. It looks terrible under this light. Just right. Fantastic. Well, there we go. Well, hello, everybody. Hopefully everybody's having a good end of the year so far. I messed up slightly with... So I try to put the chat as close as I can to... I guess I'll just slide the whole thing over there. I don't need to see my face while we're doing this. There we go. Yeah, but then I have no idea where I'm looking. I'm just kind of looking nowhere, so this doesn't work either. I try very hard to put the camera where the actual chat box is. Beak. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't, but man. Yeah, no, the moving process to my understanding is that you do just kind of eventually stuff is just sort of around and you're starting to locate it in places. Oh my goodness! I debated wearing a Santa hat, and then as we were getting stuff started for this, I was like, I'm just gonna put my hat on. If my voice sounds a little rough, I've been staving off sick. I'm feeling a little better today though, so hopefully that is gonna keep. We will see. But yeah, hello. I assume we probably have a mix of folks who are usually in for the Patreon hangout, folks who are usually not. I've added the little thing to the bottom, very temporary. I'm working on an actual overlay for Patreon Hangouts that isn't just here's the camera, here's a vertical chat box on the side, and here's the link. So it'll look a little nicer the next time around for sure. But yeah, for anybody who is not normally here every month, usually the last Friday of the month, we have a monthly Patreon Hangout. That's right, every month there's a monthly thing. And $9 patrons and above hang out, we chat, we talk up the month before, we talk up the month after, we kind of just chill for a bit, kind of do it as an informal Q&A. I feel stupid for forgetting about it. I had meant to get people to send questions and things to do a Q&A properly with, but apparently America got hit with a pretty bad flu this year. That wouldn't surprise me. Also, there's a new COVID variant apparently as well that has started sneaking around. So between the two of those, also I think I've said this every Christmas that we've had the channel. I get sick basically every Christmas, pretty much every year, like clockwork. I get sick at Christmas. I think last year I got sick, and Sarah and I could not go to my mother's side of Christmas festivities. This year plans are all over the place, even aside from that, but yeah, there's a new one that's going around. Oh, how did it show up? Oh, there we go. It's it showed up down there. The delay for it to come to the screen over here is nuts. I guess I should focus on this one since that's the one that makes the most sense in the video. I've also made myself a little bit of a nightcap with some amaretto and some root beer. It's a very tasty little concoction. It's a nice It's a nice little thing, and I like it. But anywho, yeah, we usually chill. We talk about the previous month, what's coming up in the next month. Um, we have a little bit extra to talk about this time around too. Yeah, Murphy Crimbus indeed. Yeah, right. What is the CEO of COVID-2 gonna be like? Like grape jelly. It's very. Trying to hold it up to the light there. It's got more of a crimsony, like it's brown, but it's got more of a crimsony glow when you look at it through the light. Yeah, a little bit of much nicer whiskey than deserves to be in here. A little bit of amaretto and a whole bunch of root beer. It is quite tasty. It's got that nice, deep, rich kind of flavor to it. But the only thing that I think I would do to add to this would be like either a little bit of grenadine or like like a maraschino cherry or something like that to give it a little bit even deeper of that like. Oh yeah, no. Well, so I've been having issues. So the room that I record in is like about the size of the main space that we recorded in back at the old apartment, but there's a second room that is over there that I originally had the computer set up in before. It is about the size of this room. We actually have more space here than we had at the apartment for recording stuff. And then we had like leaking issues that seeped under the carpet. And so we decided, oh, that's going to be a bit of a problem. So we started pulling stuff out of there. And then it recently rained a whole shitload. And our sump pump that we have that is pumping over into the bathtub, it pulled itself back like an inch at a time until it pulled itself over the side of the tub at like probably 9 a.m. and it spilled a bunch in there and it leaked onto the carpet again. So we have to like tear up part of that carpet. And so it's been difficult in that like there's only so much that I can actually unpack right now because there's only so many places I can put it because we're going to be moving shelves and desks and things. So it's been a little bit rough thus far. I'm going to see if I can spin this without knocking everything over. Most of the games that are not are not cartridges, like old cartridges, are actually shelved at this point. Hang on one second. There we go. Yeah, most of them are currently up on a shelf and all of that. Oh yeah, that's the old the big red one is my old review chair. I'm hoping to start using that again very very soon actually. Well, yeah, the camera wasn't all the way over there before, so that'll do. Yeah, I realized during some of like the Mario Party Madness streams, I was just like, I probably don't like having this many Home Depot logos behind my head during this, and especially if we're doing a Patreon, like a big hangout where the screen is much larger than normal. It's like maybe I do a little bit of covering up of that a teensy tiny bit. But yeah, we just had a bunch of boxes. The cardboard boxes. I don't know. We got a Lowe's around here or something, so we're gonna start using that, I guess, which is fine. It's easier and closer to get to anyway. No, definitely not. Oh God, not interested in joining their sponsor list. Oh man, but yeah, I've been tired. This whole week I've been like really struggling between like just not sleeping great and then not feeling great and then not getting great sleep when trying to feel less not great. That's been the most pain in the ass one. I don't think I've actually gotten a full 8 hours all week despite multiple attempts. Last night was close, but then around like 7:30 I was just like, "Oh, nope, I'm awake." And it's time to just get on with the day. And I'd crawled into bed around like 11:30, something like that. But oh boy, I mean, we could certainly use some 2x4s, but no, I think we're good. Oh man, no, Derpo seems kind of appropriate given the scenario that all of it's in. But that is neither here nor there. Oh boy. I should pull up my thing there. Extra Life was since the last thing, I think, right? No, it wasn't. That was in November. Oh my god. Holy cow. Can you tell it's been kind of a smear of a end of the fall, of the whole fall. The last 4 months have been like really kind of a big blur. There's been a lot going on. Oh my god, my eyes look. Oh no, that's just shadow. I was like, my eyes look so red. I think it's just the light that's. I have a green light doing this, so it's kind of offsetting some of the white. Um, but yeah, no, it's been. We've been steadily kind of getting back on track. We're like super close to being done with a bunch of things, which is very relieving. It's a big relief. It'll be nice to start ironing out some of those creases in the schedule and be able to start moving forward with stuff again. I figure I may as well go down our usual schedule stuff and we'll kind of bounce off of that into other things. But let's see where to start. Tears of the Kingdom. We have reached, as of today, we reached the Water Temple. We have indeed. I was hoping when I started to see how the numbers were kind of lining up like a week or two ago. And I was like, I wonder if we can wind up having like a big like temple episode for Christmas. I was originally hoping it would be episode part 150. If it turned out to be part 150, then I would have not had one go up today, and I would have just saved today's for Monday. But no, Monday's 151 is us taking on the Water Temple. Isn't interesting. I think of the 3 temples so far, I think it's my least favorite. It just kind of feels a little bit. This is number 3 for us. We did the Wind Temple first, and then we did the Fire Temple, and now we're doing the Water Temple. I assume the one in the desert is the Earth Temple. But yeah, no, I think the Wind Temple I think was pretty solid. It was nice. It felt like a good introduction to stuff. It was a little bit small, but that's kind of my biggest complaint is that the temples don't feel much bigger, if at all bigger, than the Divine Beasts. So they still feel really tiny. The Fire Temple so far I think is easily the largest of the ones that we've done so far anyway. The Wind Temple felt kind of small, not terribly small. The Water Temple feels really small. It feels super tiny. It basically is like like for all the wrong reasons. Like I would rather have a Water Temple. Yeah, if you include the run up, it does wind up making them a bit larger, essentially. But as for like entering the temple itself, the Water Temple is like one big amphitheater style room with a couple floaty things on the side, and that's kind of it. There's a little thing underneath too. It's like 3 globs of stuff onto a big empty space, which was a bummer because like the Fire Temple made sense. It was an ancient Goron city. It felt a little small for that, but it was still big. The minecart stuff didn't feel especially well laid out or well telegraphed, I guess. And the Wind Temple, it was like the sand ship all over again. It was a big boat with a bunch of stuff going on. I thought that was great. I wish it was more intricate. The sand ship should not be a more involved dungeon than an open world version of a ship temple in the sky. Hey, it's Dave. Hello. Howdy. Yeah, I'm looking forward to the Earth Temple. I think it'll be a fun time. We got some stuff we're gonna do between then. You're planning too much exploring between the final temple and ending the game? Yes, totally. If there's not clear, so like there's a few obvious things that the game is likely to kind of direct us towards after the 4th temple. I assume that the storm above the Zonai ruins is going to be something we're gonna need to check out. Possibly related to the Ring Ruins in Kakariko Village. I think we're going to try and clear out as many of the temples as we can. I think we definitely want to clear out the Light Roots and the Colosseums before we end the game. We've already done, I think, 2 of the Colosseums. We did one that was full of Lizalfos, I think. No, one that was full of moblins, and we did another one that had a single like high nox or something. We've seen one that is full of progressive Lionel fights, and we bailed after the first one. Excuse me. I feel way better situated to take that on now, but I'm not like in a rush to go do that again. And then there's I guess three others that are out there. I think they said there were six. But yeah, I want to get all the light routes. I want to do all the coliseums. Um, I would like to try to get all of the shrines. We'll see. Uh, I do want to get all of the bubble frogs. I want to get all the bubble gems. Essentially, I would like to do all of the missions, and I know that there's a bunch of missions that are themselves completion quests. Like the compendium is also a completion quest. Though granted, you can also buy stuff that you're missing, and we're gonna reach a point where we don't really need like gems for all that much anymore, and we can just sell a bunch of those and then buy a bunch of compendium stuff. So like, I'm not too worried about that. Um, so yeah, I think we're the one thing that I can tell you for sure. I guess two things that I can tell you for sure we are not going to try to do before ending the game. We are not going to try to like go out of our way to collect every outfit or level them up to 4 stars. We're not doing that. We're also not going to do the Korok seeds. I will probably do a Korok hunt stream or set of streams afterwards, but we're not going to do that as part of like the like daily videos. That's way too much. It took a shit load of streams for me to do it with Breath of the Wild with a tracker right in front of me. We are definitely not going to be doing that as part of the main Let's Play for this. We're going to do it as streams that come afterwards, probably literally right afterwards. If our last episode is going to go up on a Tuesday or Thursday, I think we're going to ditch whatever we're currently working on to just finish out Tears of the Kingdom. So I think that'll probably go there. Do you have all the tiers in Master Sword? We have the Master Sword. We do not have all the tiers yet. We've gotten, I think, 3. We did the first 3 and accidentally did the Master Sword one, the 12th. We have 8 more. I think now that we're going to be headed to the Gerudo area, we are going to just do the rest in one big sweep. Because the 4th one, the 4th one's not that far into the desert. Like, we could have gotten that one earlier, but it was like just out of the way enough based on everything else that we were doing that was like, it doesn't seem right to go grab that now. So we're gonna see how things are looking after a couple. The next the Christmas episode has Peter on, after which the next set is just me. Like, I've started recording the post Christmas stuff. Sarah and I are going to be on vacation starting next week through the week after that. So that's 3 straight weekends of not recording with other people. So I've started working on Tears of the Kingdom so that we try to have as little of a lapse as possible. So it's probably going to be like 2-3 weeks. It's going to be about 3 weeks of me going and doing stuff. I've already cleared out maybe half of the caves in the Zora region. I have found some great treasures that I won't spoil. And we are working on getting a few things to start as well, which is great. I think that the next thing that I'm going to be recording is going to be me taking on the rest of one of the labyrinths as well. I had mentioned before the labyrinths I really wanted to do between the 3rd and 4th phenomena, especially since we were kind of running out of other decent-sized things to do between them. So I want to check out the areas near Lurelin Village again. I want to check out, there's some more stuff in the Zora area I want to check out. I want to hit the underground near Zora's Domain, and I want to do labyrinths. And then after that, we're going to play it by ear a little bit. You can learn the order you're supposed to view them in the game. Yes, yeah, I took pictures inside the shrine there, so that we have the order, the recommended order. I guess it's the timeline order. I had messed up and grabbed the Master Sword one because it was in the the direction we had gone to get there had us essentially go right past where the actual next one was, and I wasn't paying attention, and I just grabbed it. But plan to get all the fabrics for the paraglider. Probably not. Same goes for the horse stuff. Horse gear I'm probably not going to focus on too much. just because like I don't know when we're at the point of like fully cosmetic stuff, I'm not terribly worried about those. Um, let's see the story so far. I I appreciate that the micro story going on anytime you're helping people out is a little bit more fleshed out. It feels like the world is a little bit more connected, which is nice. There's a lot more of, hey, I'm over here, but when something over there happens, I'm going to do XYZ, which I think is kind of nice. Um, as for the more interstitial story, there basically isn't one, which is a bummer. It's the same complaint that I had in Breath of the Wild. It's the same complaint I had in A Link Between Worlds. I'm really getting frustrated with how thin a lot of the Zelda storylines have become, and I'm really, really, really missing, uh, Ocarina, Majora, Twilight Princess, Wind Waker. I'm really missing Skyward Sword. Skyward Sword had a pretty dense story going on, and like mechanically, it obviously had problems, but I appreciated that it was doing something, storytelling wise. Whereas Tears of the Kingdom feels once again like here's four like partial stories that you don't really get the full anything of, and it's over the course of 100 hours of gameplay. You're getting like 2 hours of story, and it's like that's so not enough. There needs to be more than that. There needs to be more story in these games, and I know that there's some possibly misconstrued or mistranslated. I'm not really sure. I've been hearing back and forth about Eiji Aonuma talking about kind of trying to continue down this path versus trying to go back to what we had before. I don't know. I want Zelda, to me, was really all about weird, interesting items that you could use to navigate and do stuff with and interact with the world around you, and dungeon crawling. And there's very little of either of those right now. The Ultra Hand is the closest they've come in the 12 years since Skyward Sword to have like futzing around with stuff to try to figure a puzzle out. I was really hoping when this game came out that they were going to lean, because apparently the concept art for Breath of the Wild featured Link having a messed up arm that he does in this game. But rather than just being like a telekinetic arm, I was really hoping it would like Mega Man a little bit, or Samus Aran style Metroiding around. Like I wanted his hand to turn into a runic hook shot or a runic bow and arrow or a runic bomb cannon or something. I was really hoping that they would do something a little bit different with it, and they kind of didn't, and I was kind of bummed by that because like I miss Zelda games. Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom really don't feel like Zelda games. They feel like Zelda branded open world games, and that's not really what Zelda's ever properly been. So like I'm enjoying Tears of the Kingdom, don't get me wrong, but like it doesn't scratch my Zelda itch. It's part of the reason I did the Ocarina Majora randomizer. Is like I just want to play a fucking Zelda game, man. Like, granted, it's obviously one where with the randomizer we're playing it like in a very different way, but like, yeah, no, it was it's kind of a letdown story wise. The overarching story on the macro side of things is interesting. I know that the Zelda franchise tends to play a little fast and loose with canon and history and all of that. And they even said during Breath of the Wild that like this is far enough in the future that it really doesn't matter what timeline it's in anymore, which is total cop out, but I like half get it. It's definitely like it's very weird to have a game that makes a point of playing a sound effect associated with the character who is the spirit of the Master Sword, while also actively like retconning away the history of the game that character comes from. Like, there's so much of this whole imprisoning war, which itself already had a meaning in Zelda, and they kind of just decided to make a different imprisoning war. The imprisoning war with a demon king who does not appear to be actually Demise, which is confusing. Uh, and all of this stuff, it lines up like 65% with the backstory of Skyward Sword. It almost matches up with the history that you get either in game or with the comic that came out. There was a prequel comic to to Skyward Sword that showed you the previous hero that has never been a playable character. Um, and it just kind of feels like it's going, never mind. This is what happens instead. Um, but yeah, I don't know. It's sort of disappointing in a lot of ways. That I would love for Zelda to care a little bit more about. Like, it's one thing to do with like Mario or even Kirby, which has lore, and it just like comes in the shape of like referential stuff more than anything. But like, we're playing a game that's all about serious stuff. Like, no, it's a video game where you're a guy with a sword, but like the context is like this crazy war with all this history, and you're the reincarnation of these characters we've already seen before, and yet the writing just seems to totally not give a shit about any of that. Like, oh, here's Lon Lon Ranch in ruins, but also it doesn't really matter. It's just here because it's here, and it's like, God. And yeah, they absolutely could do more with the story for that, and it's bugging me that they're not. And yeah, Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom may functionally just be their own goddamn storyline at this point too, for sure. But that's the thing is like, yeah, Roru allegedly has helped found Hyrule, except the founding of Hyrule happens as a direct result of Skyward Sword. Like, they found Hyrule, present tense found. They found Hyrule immediately in the aftermath of Skyward Sword. Like, that Zelda is presumably the first Princess Zelda of Hyrule as a result. They also have both Zora and Rito. Yeah, that's kind of that one stuck out to me during Breath of the Wild. It was like, hang on a second. Rito only existed in the first place because Zoras had to evolve or were made to evolve. It's always been a little bit iffy as to whether Zoras are meant to be freshwater or saltwater. I think generally speaking, Zoras are supposed to be. I think Zoras are supposed to be freshwater, and Zolas are meant to be saltwater. Except in Majora's Mask, where they go the other way, and the Majoras are definitely saltwater. But like, so inside the area of Greater Hyrule might not have. I mean, the question is, like, there's also the issue of Hyrule constantly feeling like the only country in its world. But in the Wind Waker, it's heavily implied that the entire world flooded, right? Like, and I think the Rito themselves say that they evolved from the Zora. But it just kind of, it's weird. It doesn't make a lot of sense to me. Especially because we've seen other stages of Zora evolution. We saw the, God, I can never remember the name of the adult version, but the Tadtones that turn into those squids are heavily implied to be ancestors to the Zora. And it's just like, God damn it. I mean, there's that also. That, yeah, the Zoras may have also been forced to evolve by the goddesses in order to keep Hyrule hidden, right? I guess that's true. Yeah, she is from elsewhere. We don't really find out where exactly, but she's from outside. But then there's a question of like, okay, so if Zoras from outside of Hyrule came to Hyrule, would they like suddenly become Rito? Like, how does that work? You know. But yeah, we watched the founding of Hyrule. We've actually seen two separate foundings of Hyrule because after the world is flooded and unfloods, that Tetra founds Hyrule. She founds New Hyrule, I think, is technically the official name for it, and it's even commented on in Spirit Tracks, where the Zelda that is there is, I think, 2 generations. I think her grandmother is Tetra, and Nico is still there, and he's like 100 years old. Or maybe great-grandmother, great-great-grandmother, something like that. But, like, the founding of Hyrule happens, and, like, it would be one thing if you had a character from a race we had seen before, as the founding king of Hyrule. That's the other thing. The founding king of Hyrule is not human or is not Hylian, which is an interesting choice, to say the absolute least. He is the Hyrule was founded by a non-Hylian with a non-Hylian queen. So how did that, like, I'm sure there's still more that we're going to see. So like there may be answers to some of that going on, but like that seems like an awfully large swerve in all of this. Especially considering in the canon and what little of the canon actually is. Oh, oh my God, what is her name? Oh, I guess no, you're right. You're right. She is. I'm mixing up. I keep want to call her Sophie. That's not right. I keep mixing up the queen with Minoru, who is Roru's sister. So yes, you were completely right. Yeah, Sonia. Thank you. Yes. Still feels very strange that the first king of Hyrule is not Hylian, but regardless, the Hyrule, I'm pretty sure in the canon, was literally named after the goddess Hylia, which is what wound up going down with Zelda in Skyward Sword, was that the goddess Hylia had used her as a vessel, etc., etc. But yeah, I do not mind gameplay coming first. I think that is the most important. I would rather have a fun game that doesn't give a shit about the story than a game that plays like shit, but it's really interwoven into yada, yada, yada. But this definitely is like, man, I wish that they just tried a little bit more to stitch stuff together. Because, like, if they never cared from day one, it wouldn't bother me so much. But we had Zelda 1, and then we had a sequel. And then we had a prequel to Zelda 1 that started dropping lore about where Ganon came from. And then we got a sequel to that takes place, as that Link is off in the ocean somewhere. Then we got a prequel to that bases itself off the lore that we got in A Link to the Past that shows the sages and the origins of Ganondorf becoming Ganon. And then we got a sequel to that where that Link goes off and does stuff and has his own adventures. And then we got a pair of sequels that go off of the two explicit timeline branches of that game. And Skyward Sword gets to be a distant prequel that explains where the Master Sword came from. All of that makes enough sense with each other. I'm not even including the Oracle's games, which at the end of the Oracle's games, he gets on the boat from Link's Awakening, so they were obviously giving a shit then too. But then they did Breath of the Wild, they were like, forget it, doesn't matter. I think what happened, and this is going to sound like a real dick thing to say, and I do apologize for that, but I think after Iwata died, after Satoru Iwata died, I think Eiji Aonuma and the Zelda team kind of stopped caring about letting stuff actually like stitch together anymore. Because I believe Iwata died around the time, died around the early development of Breath of the Wild. And it was also when we got A Link Between Worlds, which started life as a Link to the Past remake that then became a weird sequel that didn't really feel like it fit properly as a sequel or an interquel or any of that stuff. It just kind of was jammed in, and they were like, don't think about the fact that the map is like 80% the same. It's like 50 years later. Don't worry about it. And then we got Triforce Heroes, which I enjoyed, but definitely felt like strange. That was like a Kirby spin-off game in terms of its connective tissue to other stuff. And then we got Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom. And it's just kind of like, I don't know. It feels like around, 2015, 2016, 2017, somewhere around there, they just kind of went, forget it. And it's just like, A Link Between Worlds bothered me too because, like, I enjoyed the game quite a bit, but also I was like, oh, here's this underworld thing. Oh, the Dark World. No, it's a different thing. Don't worry about it. Oh, okay. Oh, hey, here's Triforce Heroes. We're going to another kingdom. Are we going to see Holodrum, Labrina? Are we going to see oh god, I was gonna say Silesia. I forget the name of it. There's another country that was mentioned in one of the other early Zelda games that we've never seen, and it's like, no, it's this other place called Hytopia. And it's like, that seems weird. Okay, Termina as well. Yeah. Uh, and that's just kind of my guess. It's wild speculation. I have nothing concrete to base it on other than just guessing completely. But I wish that Aonuma would care a little bit more about making the story make sense at this point. Um, became canonically became the northern part of Hyrule in Zelda 2. What? Interesting. I don't know if I've ever seen that before. I've seen theories that say that Holodrum and Labrina are also part of Zelda 2 based off of a couple things that are in there. Triforce Heroes takes place between Zelda 1 and 2. Refuse. I refuse to believe that is possible. There's just no chance. Super super strange, especially given the state of Hyrule in Zelda 1. Because I think the idea is that for Zelda 2, it takes place pretty quickly after Zelda 1, and Impa goes to find Link and was like, hey, so only 7 years? There were 7 years in between Zelda 1 and 2? That also seems very weird. I'm almost positive that it was very quickly afterwards that Impa goes to Link and is like, hey, we've got this other problem, actually. If you could help with this, that'd be cool. Yeah, I'm pretty sure Triforce Heroes is explicitly the same Link from A Link Between Worlds. Like, I think that the Nintendo stated outright that was the same Link. Which, like, man, it just... Again, we shouldn't have to guess about this stuff, you know? This should be stuff that is very, very clear. And, like... I don't know. It's all very weird to me. It's also frustrating that it's like, okay, so it'd be really cool if Ganon was not always the bad guy forever. You also have several bad guys who are capable of still existing, even despite other defeats or earlier or whatever. Vati definitely could have things happening in between Minish Cap and Four Swords Adventures where, like, which is the beginning of Vati, and Vati being completely obliterated, and then Ganon being sealed in the Four Sword instead. Excuse me, my God. What was I going to say? I forgot. But, yeah, Vati, every time a game involves the sky or clouds or wind, I'm like, are they bringing back Vati? And they never do. It really bothers me that they don't. They've had so many opportunities for it. So that's the thing. Vati, all of the games that Vati was in came out in the span of like 2 years. They like churned that shit out fast, and then they were done with him. Let me see. Like if it turned out that there was a copyright issue with like Capcom or something, I would at least believe that. But yeah, let me see here. Let's see. Minish Cap was 2004 in Japan, 2005 in the States. Four Swords was 2002 in the States and 2003 in Japan. And Four Swords Adventures was 2004 in Japan and the US. So between 2002 and like January 2005, they did 3 different games which featured Vati as either the boss or the second to most boss, and then they've never gone back in the 20 years since. And granted, it's like, oh, but we showed him becoming the bad guy, and then we killed him, so we don't need, like, we did a game where Vati was this thing that already existed, and then we made a game where we destroyed him, and then we put out a game where you see his origins. It's like, okay, but like, even like the timeline that they've given to that puts those centuries apart. You could absolutely do another game with Vati in it. You could do another game. You could do another game with Majora in it. It doesn't have to even relate at all to Majora's Mask outside the fact that Majora as a deity is a thing that is happening. I I would honestly love to see a game that takes place in a post Majora's Mask Termina. Doesn't even have to do the 3-day mechanic. I would just like to expand that world a little bit. I don't know, but oh yeah, Varen and Onox were interesting baddies. I don't know how we'd bring them back without doing some funky stuff, because I think they are straight up killed in those games. Twin Rova apparently is capable of outlasting all of this stuff. Apparently Twin Rova is also capable of reincarnation, because they are canonically killed and sent to heaven somehow, the afterlife in Ocarina of Time, but then they come back centuries later at the end of the Oracle's games to revive Ganon. But I don't know. It's very frustrating. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. I don't envy being like a director or lead designer or anything on these Zelda games, if only because I have no idea where I would go next with this. Yeah, right. The first game that is in the series, Ganon literally is turned into a pile of ash and blood, and he's been the bad guy in like 20 other Zelda games at this point. Like, it is very possible to continue with a character who is dead in other ways. There are lots and lots and lots of ways to make it happen. Man. Yeah, I don't know. I'm also disappointed that it takes now 5, 6, 7 years for a Zelda game to come out. It's like, I don't need my game to be a 200-hour experience. I am so perfectly happy with a game that's like 20 hours, 30 hours, 40 hours if you make it good. If you make it dense and good and fun to play, I will happily eat that shit up. It does not need to be hundreds of hours of gameplay with the same number of hours of story stretched across it, you know? So I don't know. I was never a big fan of Malladus, to be honest, but I would like to see, yeah, where'd those train people go? If we're in the future of Spirit Tracks, there should be train people around. They should still exist in some way. I guess they evolved away from being trains after all the tracks got pulled up. Yeah, 5 years. Yeah, that's right. 5 or more years for a new Zelda game that's barely a Zelda game. The last even remotely Zelda-ish game that we got, I believe, was Triforce Heroes. And that was in 2015. They did Triforce Heroes. Yeah, Triforce Heroes was a little over 8 years ago. Jesus Christ. It's been 8 years since the last time they've put out a proper, actual Zelda game. God damn. Yeah, that's really disappointing. Let's see. Link's Adventure, the monster trying to revive Ganon. Yeah, yes, that is correct. That is the reason why the game over screen says "Game Over, Return of Ganon," and you see a silhouette of Ganon who is laughing at you, because if you die, then yes, they successfully. I think the idea is that they're stealing the Triforce. Oh no, you're trying to collect the Triforce of Courage, but by you being dead, the Triforce is all fucked up, and they're able to grab it, and Ganon's able to come back. Locomo, that's what it was. I was going to call them choo-choos, but that's obviously not correct. Yeah, I wouldn't mind a Zelda game coming out every 2 or 3 years. I wouldn't even hate if they had a Pokemon-like, rotation where they put out like a remake or a port every year or two while they're doing the thing. I would love for them to do an Oracle's remake in the style of Link's Awakening. I think that's totally reasonable. I think they should port A Link Between Worlds and Triforce Heroes to the Switch. I think, like, with the 3DS being functionally dead, they really need to get games off of that system as best they can. I want them to either port the 3DS remakes of Ocarina and Majora to the Switch, or I would like to see them do an actual expansive remake of both of those games. There is no reason in 20 of our 23rd year that they cannot do an Ocarina of Time game that actually feels large, like larger than the original did. I like both Ocarina and Majora, but they both feel awfully small at this point, and I would love to see them actually expand that with some stuff. And Twilight Princess and Wind Waker HD from the Wii U absolutely needs to get ported. It's really frustrating that we're about to get another Switch that better have backwards compatibility. What a terrible mistake if they don't. We should be able to play all of those on one system. God damn it. I would love to see the original Zelda get remade. They were trying to do it with the Oracle's games, and they kind of gave up. I think Oracle of Seasons was technically the one that was the remake of the original Zelda. The third canceled game was going to be a remake of The Adventure of Link in the style of the old Zelda game, so a top-down, thing like that. And then the new experience one became Oracle of Ages. But yeah, there's so much stuff that is just sitting there waiting for something, anything. And yeah, a Minish Cap remake would also be really nice as well. So, I don't know. Yeah, Link's Awakening for the Switch is not as good, in my opinion, as the Game Boy versions, primarily due to just the vibes of it. It's a mechanically almost perfect port. Like, I don't have any mechanical issues with it, but and like doing the little like top-down doll sort of thing with the tilt shift and all that is like a decent attempt to retain the kind of hazy, dreamy feeling. But the best way to play Link's Awakening is still, in my opinion, the original Game Boy release, 1993. The Game Boy just gives it this like weird quality that really, really matches with it well. Yeah, Ocarina, for me, playing Ocarina of Time 3D was what got me to realize that Ocarina was starting to show signs of age. It was still a fun game on the 3DS, but you can definitely tell that there is some stuff there that is old. That there are some old mechanics and like design types and all of that were going on there, and that it wasn't really a 2013 game as much as a 1998 game, But yeah, I don't know. I would like for Zelda to feel like Zelda again, because it doesn't really feel like Zelda right now. It feels like some other thing. And like if the plan is to just reboot Zelda, essentially, then fine. But man, it can't be a new game every 6 years for that, Got to do more than that. But alas, that's where Tears is at. I have recorded all of the episodes that are going up this year. The next episode I'm recording is actually the one going up on the 1st of January. And then I'm going to be continuing another like week or two's worth of stuff, because we're not going to be seeing anybody here. We're coming back Sunday night, like the 7th or something, and then we have a full week. Then we have like a regular week of stuff. We're gonna be recording that weekend, and then the weekend after that is MagFest. So it's gonna be January's gonna be a little on the thin side, but that's fine. It's been a fucking crazy year. There's some more stuff that I want to talk about as far as like other things that were planned or are planned. So we're gonna do our best. Yeah, wait 10 years and 2 more open world Zeldas before they course correct any of this. I fucking hope not, because it's been 12 years since the last time. The distance between Ocarina of Time and Skyward Sword, because Skyward Sword, what was that? I think that was 2011, wasn't it? Oh my god. Yeah, it was 2011. The distance between Ocarina of Time and Skyward Sword is going to be less than the time from Skyward Sword to the next Zelda game. It's going to be smaller to get from the first 3D Zelda game to Skyward Sword on the Wii than it will be from the last time we got a 3D Zelda game that felt like a Zelda game until the next one that we get. So I don't know. Aonuma has said that this version of Hyrule is done, that they're not going to come back here for a third game, which I hope means that they're already working on the next one and figuring stuff out. But like, well, that's the thing. Minish Cap, I want to say, was a flagship title, which is like a partnership between Capcom and HAL and somebody else. Might even had like Grezzo in there or something. I don't know. Minish Cap and the Oracle's games, I think, were all like Capcom related. Capcom fucking nailed it on those. Honestly, they did a great job. I wish they would come back, but Capcom's kind of in its own fucking zone right now. Let's see. Where are we with other stuff? Those three, yeah, they're all great. Honestly, the handheld Zeldas are by and large almost a perfect run. The last two that they released were the shakiest, but otherwise the handheld Zeldas are almost like perfect across the board, in my opinion. Let's see. Other stuff that is going on, though. Pokemon. Brilliant Diamond, Shining Pearl. We're still waiting on John to either record stuff on his end or come here to record. The end of the year has been kind of tricky for him. So we're going to see how that goes. Crown Tundra, same thing with Ben. Whenever he's able to come around. Or if he's just out, then Jeff and I can finish that off. We're probably like 2 or 3 sessions away from being able to satisfactorily complete that and be like, yes, we're good. Pokemon Legends Arceus. I'm actually probably going to wind up recording some more of that for the start of the year as well. There are episodes that get us through to New Year's on the collection side of things. There's probably going to be an annoying episode or two of like primarily trying to find the final wisp in the Coronet Highlands. I'm probably just going to pull up a tracker for the next episode we do. I'm not going to refer to it right away. I want to give one more actual episode's worth of looking. And then it's going to be like, okay, where the fuck is this thing? Because I don't want to spend forever on it. I want to be able to get Pokemon caught or evolved. And the only way that's going to happen is if we're actually going to other places and having fights. And we can't do that if we're actively also... Oh, my God, I need to get a chair. There's not this couch. We're not going to do that if we're just flying around everywhere and not actually engaging with the other Pokemon. So, but that's going well. We're getting close to the end. I think... God, what number is it? We've got about... At my last count, we have about 60 Pokemon left to go. Some of them, a good chunk of them are ones we can just catch. We have not gone to any region that's not Coronet Highlands, so that'll start making it much easier once we start like navigating around and stuff. Once we go to the other places, there are Pokemon that we've been like not seeing or kind of avoiding that we'll be able to start grabbing there. And also once we're done with the Pokemon that require... We might actually not have any of the Pokemon that require happiness to evolve on our team anymore. I think there might be one. But I think we've either evolved or caught the rest for that. So, yeah, I appreciate that Legends Arceus is like everything that I wanted out of... I had an idea for a long time, literally like 10 years, for what I wanted out of a Pokemon fan game. And I was like, man, how can I make this work? Where the whole premise is that it takes place sometime before Gen 1, and you are assisting possibly a younger Professor Oak with getting like the general gist of a Pokedex put together, where you were going out, seeing Pokemon do stuff, and taking notes on it, and this would form the basis for understanding these Pokemon through the Pokedex, understanding how typings work, all of these things, and I think they did a good job of capturing that with Arceus. I think it's certainly not perfect, but I'd say it goes pretty well on its way to actually doing all the things that you'd want that to do and to be. So I'm pretty happy with that. Um, I'll be sad to see it go. Honestly, it was a fun game. If anything, the bummer about doing a game like Arceus is that it feels very grand and large at the start of it, but the longer you play it, the smaller the game starts to feel. Uh, like I don't love that you're either in town, you're seeing Kogita, or you're in one of 5 like little nubby zones, as opposed to a larger space with like large biomes. Um, I wouldn't mind if it was like regions that you could teleport to and from more easily. It really bothers me that you need to go back to town to go anywhere else. That's kind of annoying. But otherwise, I really enjoy it to the point where, yeah, I think I'm enjoying it more than the like core games. Scarlet and Violet has been fine. It's been pretty good generally. I like the freedom of the games in terms of like being able to go and do stuff in whatever order you want. The DLCs have been pretty charming, but I don't know. There's something about Arceus that is just working for me. Where, yeah, Brilliant Diamond Shining Pearl is once again kind of rolling off of us, and it's not just because we've got more Pokemon games we're doing. It's because it's an exact copy of a game that previously in my life I just kind of fell off of around 2/3 of the way through and just wasn't interested enough to finish it. Like at this point, I'm driven to finish it because I'm like, man, please, I wanna go fight the Elite Four. I want to see if I can survive Cynthia, and I want to see what this post game is all about. But like, man, it is not a game I'm likely to go back to anytime soon. It bothers me because Fire Red and Leaf Green, Heart Gold, Soul Silver are really solid upgrades to the games that they came from, but they don't really mix the formula up too much. Um, there are some neat upgrades in there. There's some neat like additional content things, but then you have Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire, which like super remakes like decent chunks of it, adds a whole new post game based loosely off of Emerald and some other stuff. And it's like a real labor of love remaking that game from one that I was never all that interested in originally. Like Ruby and Sapphire never really, I never even played them. I was just kind of like, whatever. Omega Ruby Alpha Sapphire, I'm like, these are awesome. These are really, really good. And then the Gen 4 remakes, it's like you just kind of shit out just the same game again. I don't understand why. I don't know. So if anything, it's making me really nervous because Gen 9, I think we're on. Gen 9, because what is it? 5 is Black and White, 6 is X and Y, 7 is Sun and Moon, 8 is Sword and Shield, 9 is Scarlet Violet. Gen 9 has been dropping a lot of Johto and Unova, tons of Unova in the DLCs lately. All the downloadable stuff has been like weirdly leaning into Unova. And I love Black and White. I've never played the sequels, but I love Black and White. They are my favorite Pokemon games in the franchise. And I'm really fucking nervous that they're going to do the same thing to Black and White as they did with Diamond and Pearl, and that will be unacceptable to me. Those games deserve better treatment than that. I would hope that they would remake Black and White 1 and 2 together. I guess it wouldn't make a ton of sense because you're playing as a different protagonist 2 years later. I would love if they did. I guess I'll put it that way. But Legend Celebi and a Bad Black and Wish that had been remade. Why, yeah. I think that the names that I've gone with for a long time have been oh god, was it like Stark Black and was it Sheer Stark Black and Sheer White or something like that, or like Sheer Black and Vast White? Because I'm trying to remember what the adjectives given to. So okay, yeah, Zekrom is the deep black Pokemon, and Reshiram is the Vast White Pokemon, I think. Yeah, Vast White. So like Deep Black and Vast White, pretty decent names for remakes. It's literally right there. Why the hell not? So like, I don't know. I'm nervous that they're gonna super fuck it up. It's double annoying because like the Gen 1 and 2 remake, the Fire Red and Leaf Green, Heart Gold Soul Silver as remakes. Well, I guess Heart Gold Soul Silver didn't really have as much for it, but Fire Red and Leaf Green added in Dark and Steel, which was nice. Omega Ruby Alpha Sapphire, I believe, added in fairy types, added a bunch of new stuff with that. It also added in Mega Evolution that was introduced in X and Y. Brilliant Diamond Shining Pearl didn't add anything. That's not entirely true, but it basically added nothing. Even Let's Go Pikachu and Let's Go Eevee, which were like supremely dumbed down remakes of Pokemon Yellow with Pokemon Go mechanics, even that included Mega Evolution. It's like, man, please, please, please do not just shit out a completely useless copy of Black and White. I would rather they just port Black and White rather than waste my time with a remake that does nothing. So yeah, I don't know. I would be fine with the Black and White 0 and 3 also if they did it right. That's the big thing. I don't know. It's very, very frustrating. Yeah, I'm nervous because, like, again, we're doing Indigo Disc, and literally the first person we meet at the Blueberry Academy is the daughter of a Unovan gym leader, probably Clay. And it's like, oh, okay. So that's a pretty firm connection to Unova here immediately on this boat school that is also a Unovan-based school, and you've been dropping Unovan legendaries for stuff. Like, please, if you're going to do it right. I'm going to go with Let's Go Johto, but I think my previous claim for a two-part one was Let's Go Togepi and Let's Go Meryl. Just because, like, Gen 2 really doesn't have the same kind of Pikachu and Eevee situation that Gen 1 did, but I don't know. Togepi and Meryl seem like close enough to like little mascots of those games. I don't know. But oh yeah. I've been keeping an eye on like the Radical Red and Clement Emerald stuff. It's been interesting. There's also whatever the game is that gives everybody 4 abilities, and they're all like absurd levels of stuff. It just seems like completely fucking impossible to get your head around. Every now and then on Reddit, it's like, oh man, this dude is broken. It's like, yeah, because it's got 4 fucking abilities, and they all like interact with one another to make this giant monster that is impossible to fucking kill. I don't know. Yeah, it's less that they're connected. Like, I don't mind that they're connecting things to Unova. I love that they're connecting things to Unova. I'm worried because the way they handled Sinnoh was really bad. Like, really, really bad. Yeah, Johto seems more likely to get a Legends sequel. Like, I think Pokemon Legends Celebi is much, much likelier than Pokemon Let's Go Celebi. Mostly because just Johto is a historic region itself in general. And they do border each other too. That's actually, is Sinnoh in the south, not the north? Because Hoenn's in the south. I thought Hoenn was connected to Johto. Excuse me, my God. Because Johto is in the west and Kanto is in the east, right? Sinnoh is due north of Johto. Okay. I mean, regardless, but Hoenn isn't connected to anything. Is it completely island based? I thought that it was connected on the north, but I could be wrong. But yeah, no, I don't know. I think that a history thing is likely to happen, especially with the stuff involving like the Tin Tower and all of that. It'd be very cool to see. Oh my God, I've forgotten his name. The leader of the galaxy, the galaxy folks. Oh my God, I've forgotten his name. It'd be fun to see him turn up again, either younger or older, really. But it'd be fun to see him. Not Cyrus, but the galaxy guy from Legends Arceus. Kamado, yes. Commander Kamado. It'd be fun to see Kamado turn up in a Johto Legends game. Um, just as a nice like reference, I guess. I don't know. It's actually Professor Rowan's Japanese name. Oh, interesting. I mean, I guess that makes sense considering they are related. Yeah, like Professor Rowan is Kamado's descendant, right? So that does make sense. Um, but yeah, no, I don't know. I suspect we could get a Let's Go for Gen 2 and a Legends for Let's 2 for Gen 2. I hope we don't get a Let's Go for Gen 5. Please God no on that one. Christ. Hoenn is an island southeast of Kalos. That seems odd. Huh. I'm actually very curious now. Does Bulbapedia have like a world map? Do. Oh, you know what it is? I keep mixing up. So the region that Hoenn is based on is not disconnected from everything. And I guess it kind of is. Barely, but and also Sinnoh is like way up north, disconnected from everything else. Oh, the region Sinnoh is based off of is way up north. Yeah, I just want like a description of like where things actually are. It's annoying. Let's Go Unova would be fucking terrible. So many ways. In so many goddamn ways, it'd be a fucking awful game. Not to mention, actually, not just in terms of like, man, I would hate for that to happen, but like canonically and story wise, a game where the bad guys are trying to free Pokemon and you're literally just catching thousands of them seems like just how do we actively make the player definitely the bad guy in all of this? There cannot be a Let's Go Unova. Oh my God, that'd be so bad. Jesus Christ. Yeah, that can't happen. This would make the game ugly like a remake. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I honestly wouldn't mind if they just did an Omega Alpha style remake of Black and White. Deep black, vast white. You know? Boy, oh boy. Like the strange part is trying to think of like what would be the Let's Go mascots for each one. Like on the one hand, if they did a Unova one, you would have one easy one with Let's Go Victini or something. But then after that, it gets a little bit. Yeah, Let's Go Victini and Let's Go. Oh my God, what was Gen 5's? Was that Pachirisu? Was that no? Pachirisu was earlier. Let's Go Sock. Let's Go Throw. That'd be a fun one. Deden was Gen 6. Was it a Molga? It might be a Molga, yeah. It was a Molga. Okay. Yeah, Let's Go Emolga and Let's Go Victini. I won't confuse anybody at all. Oh, Munna. Yeah, they really did push Munna hard. I would go with Let's Go Munna if the other Let's Go Pokemon besides Pikachu was Clefairy, because that was also supposed to be a mascot Pokemon. If they did Let's Go Pikachu and Let's Go Clefairy, Let's Go Emolga, Let's Go Munna would be like the most obvious definite one. Yeah, honestly, the only thing that would be okay about them Let's Going Gen 5 would be the return of Dream World in some way. I guess that's true. Munna does turn up a bunch. That's fair. It's fair. Yeah, that's the thing. I appreciate anytime you see oh God, alumni, I guess, of the villain teams, and they're just like, yeah, man, I don't know. I was trying to do what I thought was right, and I guess it wasn't, so it's fine, whatever. But I want to help and stuff, and it's like, all right, that's pretty cool. I like that. Oh man, but yeah, I don't know. We'll see where Pokemon winds up as a franchise. I think that's everything related to that. Sonic Rivals 2 continues. It's funny. I think the video that went up today had me guessing that it was Wednesday's video, which it was supposed to be, except we didn't get a video up on Friday or Monday, so it would have been the Wednesday video, but it was not. I'm going to do. We already recorded Game 6, and that's going to take us basically through to New Year's. And then I am going to do Game 7. It's going to take us into like mid-second week of January, and then we're probably going to take a couple days off to get the last to get Game 8 done for like the end of that, and then we can finally move on. Oh my God! Have a good one. Have a good one. Anything important coming up? I will probably. I'm going to be talking about the old sizzle, the old sizzle reel, the sizzle bet, all that stuff. I don't think there's any other like huge things, anything like that. I don't have like any major announcements or anything like that for today. So other than that, I think you're all good. But yeah, Sonic Rivals 2, and once we're done with that, we are finally moving on. We're finally going to be free. We've recorded like the first half of Sonic Superstars also, and I got some thoughts on that, but I want to wait until those videos go up. It is an interesting experience playing multiplayer. I will leave it at that. Resident Evil. We did Resident Evil 4. We wrapped up. We have finished. At some point, we are going to figure out between CJ and I how we're doing separate ways, and then we're going to be moving on to Resident Evil 5. That is not going to happen until January, just because time is short. We got Christmas on Monday, and then 3 days later, Sarah and I are gone for like a week and a half. So we're waiting until we get back. We may not do it till after MagFest even. We're gonna see how things go, you know. But Resident Evil will continue with Resident Evil 5, well, with separate ways, and then Resident Evil 5. And we'll see how that goes. Yeah, Sonic Rivals 2 is just basically just slightly more finished Sonic Rivals, and it's twice as long. Not impressed. Very not impressed. It's hard to decide which one I dislike more. Sonic Rivals 2 is ultimately longer, so that really is kind of overriding the fact that it feels moderately more complete of a game. But also, Sonic Rivals 1 barely feels like it can justify its existence. So, yikes. Mega Man Star Force 3, we have one more episode that we have previously recorded. I was hoping we might be able to get an episode 50 for like Christmas, but timing didn't really work out. So 50 will be coming sometime soon. We're probably going to have like maybe a month off from Star Force, just because we're not going to be able to record any otherwise. The next opportunity to record is going to be the weekend of the 13th. So it's going to be basically a month until Star Force comes back, and I'm very, very sorry. But we will be back, and then we'll be plowing through to the end of the game and then making our way into the post-game from there too. So we got that. Kirby's Return to Dreamland Deluxe is also going to be off until like late January. We're just going to need to kind of wait until we've got folks for it again. We were trying to see if we could do it the same weekend as the holiday party we had, and then timing just didn't work out. But when we come back, we will be jumping into the Magolor epilogue. I've been looking forward to that. It's like the whole reason we're playing it again. So it'll be nice to start the year out with some Magolor. It'll be really good. I think that is it as far as the like stuff that is actively in progress right now. So I'm gonna switch gears slightly to talk about the sizzle reel. So for anybody who does not know, back in August, I think the 100th episode of Tears of the Kingdom coincided with the 10th anniversary of the Legendary Let's Play. And I was like, okay, we've got a bunch of stuff that we're actively working on, and normally I would keep this stuff entirely under wraps. and just kind of surprise people as it all comes out. But I was like, you know what? It's a big celebration. 10 years of Zelda, our 100th episode of Tears of the Kingdom, all this stuff. Like, let's put some bells and whistles on it. And I put out what was it? I think it was, I called it like the 2023, the rest of 2023 sizzle reel. Which was basically advertising like all of these things that we were planning or hoping or at least trying to get out by the end of 2023, or at least start on by the end of 2023. The trick there was we were also in the middle of buying a house and moving, and obviously, as you can see, state of unpacking still remains kind of in limbo with the other situations going on down here. So we definitely wound up missing the mark in a pretty big way, like overall. But I figure it'd be nice to walk down the list of the things that were there and just kind of give you guys an update and what to expect with those. There are 27 items on the list. I think that by the end of the year, we will have hit 15 of them, which is pretty good. We will have hit 15 of the 27, which is pretty nice. And we have plans for most of the rest of them in terms of like timing. So right at the top of the list, Tears of the Kingdom, easy one on that. We've done 50 more episodes since then. And we will be continuing to play that through to completion. And then I'll be streaming that until it's completely complete. Yeah, basically 50, we've done that's more than 50%. Oh, you're talking about the out of 27. Yes. Yeah, that'll be about a little over 55%, about 55.5%. But yeah, Tears of the Kingdom obviously continues. Breath of the Wild Unpaused has gone up in its entirety. That one was a little bit tricky. I was kind of learning how we were handling the like ultra long videos at the time, and that was kind of its own whole thing. The Legendary Let's Play, a terrible fate unpaused. This one's the most question marky out of all of the ones. Like, it's the least obvious yes or no. It's going to depend on a few other factors going into the very end of the year. We are actually quite close. In fact, if I pull up, I have my list. I actually have a really big spreadsheet that helps me keep track of it because there's just so many videos and it's hard to keep track of otherwise. Also, I needed to figure out what order everything went in. Let's see, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24. 22 or 24, like definitely for 24 videos stand between us and the A Terrible Fate Unpaused series going up. And that's depending on whether you count A Link to the Past randomizer or not. If you don't, then 2 videos later will be the Zelda LCD games, which were definitely part of the Terrible Fate series that we did, which was like going back and playing the stuff that we skipped before because it wasn't like main series games. That one's gonna be pretty close. It's really gonna depend on it. Like, my guess is we're like barely gonna miss it. Just due to like I still have to prep a handful of these to get them online. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 of those 24 are already online, but they're not in the right order, so I'm waiting for other ones to go up first. All of the Zelda-related stuff between now and there is already online, for starters. And almost all of the Sonic stuff is, too. Like, the next video that's going up is Kirby Air Ride, which has not been exported yet, but Hyrule Warriors Definitive Edition, Part 1, has been exported and uploaded for, like, weeks now. Part of what's making this tricky is, as we speak, I am 19 and a half hours into exporting the 3rd Ocarina Majora stream, and we are almost at the halfway point in that export. That one is one that can run alongside other exports the way that it's set up. Like, other exports can run simultaneously with that, and it's not, going to be an issue. But yeah, these Ocarina Majora ones are like fucking tough. What I may wind up doing is pausing. Like, this one I might just let go, but then from 4 to 10, there were 10 streams in total. This is one of the longer ones for what it's worth. Like, stream 3 was pretty long. It was about 5 hours long. I think it's the longest of all of them. I think the rest are all shorter than that. But doing streams 1 and 2, which were about 2.5, 3 hours long, that took like 20 hours. So the reason why that is the case is very technical. It's got to do with like essentially the layering that's going on makes it really like complicated as far as the data is concerned, because we've got the original stream video, but then I have to cut a hole out where the timer is and realign the timer with a second copy of the video. And then also the main gameplay itself, for whatever reason, RetroArch has like a black border in like a U shape around the left, right, and bottom. So that's also corrected in these edits. So we have 3 copies of this video that it has to deal with cropping in every frame. So like it's a whole thing there. The VODs are up. I just have them unlisted because they're just not very cleaned up versions of the videos, and also have like 20 minutes of music that we definitely don't have the rights to playing as like pre-roll. And I'm not even going to remotely attempt to publish those fully like that, because you know I didn't go looking for permission for any of the stuff, because the idea was that in the version that actually goes up, that's not going to be there, you know. So what'll probably happen is I will prepare streams 4 through 10, and then I will wait, and when Sarah and I go on vacation for 9 days, 10 days, I will press play on that process, and it'll probably be done by the time we come back. Probably. So that's where that's at. And relatedly, I've been also pushing really hard to get stream VODs up. We're getting close. We actually have a fun exclusive that we're throwing up. One of the Mario Party Madness streams, we're actually getting to put up the like really nice 4K version that Chris Clark put together. So I need to quickly download that and make a couple very quick tweaks to it, and then that'll be going up. We have 2 other Mario Party Madnesses. I forgot to mark off that we got the last Escape the Backrooms up. There's one more Pokemon Brother Lock stream that needs to go up. There's a Barotrauma. There's Indigo Disc, and there's Alien Isolation. So like we're actually pretty close to getting the VODs caught up again, outside of the Zelda ones, which are going to be kind of their own thing. Once they're all exported, they go up very fast. The final size is basically the same as any other stream. It's a 3-hour stream, regardless of whether it takes an hour and a half for it to export, which when we do Pokemon Scarlet and Violet, because I'm not doing any fuckery with like the window, it's very, very quick to export those. That'll take as long to go up as these that take literally like upwards of 20 times longer to export. So that'll be good. Once the stream VODs are like dealt with, it definitely frees up the unpaused videos to be a lot closer to done too. So that's gonna be good. I think we're still behind on the unpaused uploads, partly because the like moving got things really busy, and the stream VOD backlog got a little bit intense. So I wanted to focus on keeping the newer videos properly moving before I went back to the old stuff. So we're still behind by a bunch. But otherwise, I'm probably going to start putting together calendars again of like when to expect releases. It's a little bit more up in the air because I am trying to catch up on that side of things. And we got a long ways to go. So we'll see. We'll see where that goes. I'm hoping we're going to hit a point, especially when the Zelda Terrible Fate videos start going. We're going to hit a point where it's going to start streamlining a lot more. And then we're going to hit a point where like very soon after, in some ways, Link to the Past Randomizer is the first of them, but we're going to hit a point where that's where we started streaming a lot more. Those are going to be very easy to set up. Part of what makes those so difficult to do is the manually like restitching videos back together, like finding the spots where the footage was cut and re-adding that back in. When it comes to streams, it's going to just be like a couple streams stitched together for that. So the editing process for that will be extremely short. I've already had the Celeste videos ready to go for a while. Those are going to be the Celeste videos are going to come like a weekish after the Terrible Fate videos get started too. So that's Celeste should be a January thing for sure. Those are fine. The biggest thing there is I want to do like an intro outro for it, just because we didn't really do one of those for the streams. So I would like to do a little something because it's in 2 or 3 parts. Yeah, I think Celeste is in 3 parts because the lengths just kind of wound up working out that way. Either 3 or 2. I think 3. But those will be moving again. With any luck, Kirby Air Ride will go up tomorrow. If not, then it'll be going up on the 24th. I'll kind of go there. Yeah, Persona 3 unpaused. Well, so realistic. So the big trick is YouTube has a 12-hour limit. We've run into issues with that once or twice with these videos. The one video was so close to 12 hours that I literally exported it, put it back into Premiere, and then sped up the video to get it to 12 hours. It was like 12 hours and like a minute or something, and I could not find a minute to chop out of it. So I literally put it back in and sped it up. I don't even remember which one it was. It is not the video that is 11:59, because that one just happened. That one was just a miracle. But yeah, no, some of the Persona ones are quite long. I wonder, actually. Let's see. Thanks to the Final Biscuit and the Wiki team, they have been including the length range of those streams. So 45 streams totaling 153 hours. So when I got to my notes section for that, I literally wrote down as okay, so this is at least 13, definitely more than that streams. Yeah, the longest one is a little under 6 hours, and I'm betting that was real close to the end. Yeah, the last stream is 6 hours long. Out of the rest of them, none of them got much further than 4 hours. There's a couple that got to like 4:08, 4:10. There's one that got to 4:18. So we're almost certainly going to be getting 3 streams per unpaused for this whole thing, which would put it at about 15 unpaused videos. Just kind of glancing at the answer, because that's a much smaller section there. Oh, man. Yeah, it's going to be real tight. I think... Actually, you know what? No, these times also include intro, outro, like pre-roll stuff. So, yeah, the answer will probably be 3 unpaused videos, and the main game will probably be 12. The journey. So I guess we'll kind of see on that one. But and that's the thing. Yeah, the big trick with turning the 12:0 whatever video into a 12-hour video is when you're like the percentage difference is small enough that you really don't hear it in in anyone's voices. Because you think about it, you're changing from 7,200 and like 2 minutes to 7,200 minutes. So that's 3% of 1% of a difference, you know? I didn't go over the current streams. That's a good point. Thank you. Let's see. So we'll start with Sunday. Siege. So we recently did Escape the Backrooms. CJ, myself, Dave, and Sanchez. It was a lot of fun. It's an unfinished game. We're hoping to finish it sometime so we can actually finish it. Last week they dove into Alien Isolation. I haven't actually looked at I have not downloaded that yet. I actually have to take a look at it. But I don't know if they're planning to do that more. They might be. I'll have to take a look there. But that VOD should be going up sometime in the next week as well. Monday and Wednesday have been the Pokemon X and Y Brother Lock. Dave has beaten Wolfric. And he is waiting on Jeff, who needs to... I don't know where... I forget where Jeff is specifically. I know that he has beaten Lysander, and I don't think he's left Geosenge Town yet. So 1, maybe 2 streams, and he'll be at Wolfric, at which point the boys will have their 8th face-off, and they'll have a face-off community stream, and then it'll be time to head on up to Victory Road and do that whole thing. My understanding is that neither of them are going to do post game. I think that's probably fine. I don't really like not like it's up to them if they want to do it or not. I don't recall X and Y having an especially compelling post game. Had some Zygarde stuff in there, but that was kind of it. Did that also have? No, Sun and Moon was the one that had Looker show up for a bunch of like missions and things. I think. Oh no, Looker was in the X and Y post game also. Yeah, I don't know, but regardless, to my understanding, there's no plan for them to do post game stuff. Yeah, not a lot going on there. Omega Ruby Alpha Sapphire had a nice chunky post game. Sun and Moon had more post game stuff going on. So yeah, Looker adopting a feral child. Oh, that's right. Yeah, there was that like. Oh my god. Yeah, it was like hunting stuff down in alleys in Lumiose. It was very weird. But yeah, so that's where they're at right now. I don't know if either of them have decided what they want to do after X and Y is over. I know that Dave was talking about like getting that itch to play some new stuff, play some like shorter little one-offy things again. And I don't know if Jeff is planning on doing more Nindo streams or if he's planning on doing something else. I'm not really sure. For myself, Tuesdays are now. I've actually got this incorrect on my calendar. I've got it backwards. Tuesdays, I just finished the Ocarina Majora's Mask combo randomizer. One of the most devastatingly difficult seeds that we could have gotten for that. It was brutal. I still haven't looked up. Actually, I'm very curious. I just want to see if there's any mention of what other people tend to have for spheres in those games. Not really seeing too much there, and in fact I'm running into an awful lot of obvious bullshit websites of the .pl variety that seem to be scammy or weird. Yeah, that's a little weird. But we found out after the fact that the seed that I had 26 spheres, which is like holy shit. Which my understanding means that there are 26 points at which you need a specific thing to be able to progress further in the game. My understanding is that 26 is a rather large number for that. That the idea is like you only hit a new sphere number if you could exhaust every single chest or item drop and not be able to progress until you get one specific thing that's in there. Basically, all Zelda games have randomizers with combo randomizers are pretty rare. I would definitely be down for doing another Zelda randomizer. I've wanted to do a Link's Awakening randomizer for a really long time. I've been curious about Zelda 1 randomizers. I don't know how I would feel about other randomizers of the ones that I haven't done yet, if only because Twilight Princess is a fairly sprawling game, and the game is really constructed in a way where I don't know how it would even function with a randomizer attached. It's a very stiff gameplay experience. The Skyward Sword, likewise, they would really have to fuck with the gating in that game. Minecraft, Fire Red, Leaf Green, Hollow Knight. Jesus Christ. I have done Link to the Past. Link to the Past was actually the first randomizer I did. I had to learn how to do what was it? It wasn't even a bomb jump. It was just like it's like a super basic move, but it's one where you like slam into a wall and then use that to get over. Maybe there was a bomb there. You have to use that to get over a gap to get into the Ice Temple early, essentially. But I've done a Link to the Past. I don't remember the order that I did these, but I did a Link to the Past. I've done Ocarina of Time on its own, and I've done the Wind Waker. Wind Waker also was a really rough seed. I think we were not able to beat the game until there were only 3 chests left in the game. Similarly, for Ocarina Majora, we literally only had 1 item drop that we didn't know what it was by the time we were done. In Hyrule. In Termina, we had more. In Termina, it was like 15-ish, but In Hyrule, we literally, the only item that I did not have, that I did not know what it was by the time we were done, was what the 10 Grand Poe prize was, which I said early on is like, I'm not doing that unless it's literally the only option we have left. And it wound up not being, which is fortunate. But yeah, I would be down for doing another Zelda randomizer for sure. Like I said, Zelda 1 and Link's Awakening seem like the most reasonable ones to try to do. Oracles would also maybe, Oracles and Minish might be a possibility. I'm less familiar with those. I don't know if they're even, I'm assuming that there's an Adventure of Link randomizer, but that sounds kind of painful. As someone who's come around on Adventure of Link and actually do appreciate it for what it is, the early days NES design choices made for Adventure of Link really seem like it would be a pain in the ass to do a randomizer. Whereas like Ocarina, it's like, okay, that sounds tough. I'm sure there's going to be some awkward shit that I have to pull off, but it does sound fun. I'm down for doing multi-world randomizers of various kinds as well. I'm down for doing... I want to try to do a Pokemon randomizer one of these days. I either a Pokemon randomizer that randomizes the Pokemon. There's ones that do move randomization, type randomization, door randomization. Sounds like a fucking funny one to do sometime. I don't want to combine those, but I like just doing like a wild, like an encounter randomizer in Pokemon. Seems like a fun time. So I don't know. That'd be kind of fun. Yeah, I don't know. I'd be down for it sometime. I have 2 other Pokemon stream things that I'm currently cooking right now. But those are going to wait until after. I was originally hoping to start one of them in January, but I think because Insurgents is still on the docket, like for stuff that I need to work on, I'm going to wait a little bit longer. But the idea that I have is one of the stupidest things, maybe the stupidest thing we've ever done on the channel once it happens. And my understanding as well after doing some research is that it is something that has not been done before. So a little tease as to what lies in the future for us. Crystal Full Item Randomizer. Oh, Jesus Christ. Oh, that's kind of an interesting one. You Let's Played Calculator Watch. Yeah. Yep. And this is a stupider idea. It's a definitely stupid idea. But we'll talk about that when it comes around. Pokemon randomizers are fittingly a mixed bag, but on the whole, they're pretty boring. Yeah, I mean, I think the trick is you got to pick a game that's going to be fun to do regardless. Like, I do not want to do Gen 1 or Fire Red Leaf Green for that matter, or Let's Go. I don't even know if someone's figured out a randomizer for that, but I don't want to randomize Kanto. Kanto is a pain in the ass to play. Johto's a little better, but definitely not doing Sinnoh. I mean, honestly, single playing Gen 4 may not be as bad now, but regardless. Gen 5 could be pretty fun. Gen 3 could be pretty fun. Gen 6 could be pretty fun. After that, the games start getting really hit or miss again. Sun and Moon just feels like it'd be just the biggest slog. Not to mention the end of the game suddenly goes, oh, what if we just bitch slap you out of existence for your final battle? That sounds cool, right? Sword and Shield and Scarlet Violet seem like they'd be kind of awkward to figure out in the first place. So yeah, I don't know. Oop. I hope that didn't do anything to the stream. I don't think it did. I have a wireless keyboard that just fell off of the thing here because I bumped it. Yeah, if you could skip the dialogue or have a manually edited version of it that just tells you point blank the point of that dialogue, then I'd be more okay with it. But man, Sun and Moon just drags like fucking crazy. Really, really slow. Yeah, Door Randomizer, I've seen a couple I think I've seen like Small Ant do one or something, and it looks hilarious. I think the competitive nature of that as a versus thing is more fun and more interesting. Doing it solo seems like not terrible, but it's definitely, I think, trying to learn it as someone else is trying to learn at the same time is the key there. As a balance system for scaling in terms of Pokemon you can find randomly. Okay, that's interesting. If anything, that makes it feel more legitimate of a Pokemon game, because that way it's not like, oh, I found a Kyogre in the grass on Route 3 and I caught it, so now I'm just going to just plow through the rest of the game. There's some interesting stuff there. As a speedrunners patch, it removes all the dialogue for races and like, okay. Interesting. Yeah, I wanna look into some of these things because they'd be pretty fun. As for so on Thursdays right now I'm doing Pokemon Violet, the Indigo Disc. Ironically, I'm not going to be able to stream again until the day that the epilogue drops. I mean, we're gonna obviously just keep doing Indigo Disc, and then when we're done, we will do the epilogue. But looking forward to that. It's funny that like, I did Teal Mask right away, and then it was a good month or two between that and Indigo Disc, and now I can't do any more of Indigo Disc until we get back, and they're immediately dropping an epilogue, and it's like, oh, okay, well, the DLC is pretty decent. So I've barely cracked into it, to be honest. I can't give a good judgment on it yet. Teal Mask was pretty solid. I liked that one. Very compact little story, little like micro region. It was all right. It was pretty good. I think the DLC feels in some ways a little bit more tightly put together than the main game, which is kind of nice. And I'm looking forward to getting further into Indigo Disc. I don't have enough I can say about it yet because I've literally only played it for like 3 hours. So that'll be I'll be able to talk more about it next month, I think. And yeah, I would definitely be down for doing some kind of stream or randomizer or crowd control thing that changes stuff every blank minutes or blank seconds or something. I think there could be some fun stuff to do there too. Let's see. Going back to the list, I kind of drifted off topic there. So yeah, A Terrible Fate Unpaused is like total wild card at the end of the year here. It's really gonna depend on where things go over the next like 2-ish days. I will know whether we've still got a shot at it or not. So we'll see. Link's Awakening Versus is not happening this year. I've been talking with CJ. We're working out plans for how we want to do that, how we're going to... and as for what's coming Tuesday, we're going to be starting Persona 4. We'll be starting on Persona 4 and beginning on that, and we'll be back to that on the 9th of January. So we're only going to miss like 2 weeks of that. Actually, not even 2 weeks of that. It'll be 1 week. We'll miss the 2nd. We'll miss January 2nd, and that's it. I'm going to be doing Golden. I downloaded. I think I've got it on the PS5. I think it's the PS Network. Well, I forget what fucking thing, but it's the version. It is PS Persona 4 Golden on modern PlayStation hardware. My understanding is that Golden here is kind of a no-brainer as compared with Persona 3 FES, which was a little bit of a tricky one because there was Persona 3 like portable or something that was a little bit different. FES seemed to be the correct choice there. And then there's Persona 5 Royal, which has like a different playable character too, which is kind of confusing, but oh yeah, we already did. So if you go hey, it is Ween. Hello. Welcome. If you go back to our shout out Ape Arcade. I should have said that part too. Everybody go watch Ape Arcade. At the end, so I did in God, what year was that? 2021, I think. If you go on the channel, there should be an episode that's marked like Pokemon Fire Red finale or Pokemon Fire Red post game or something. I did a stream for the 10th anniversary of Pokemon Rivals. This might have actually been last year. Now I think April 2022 sounds about right. For the 10th anniversary of Pokemon Rivals, the 10th anniversary of the first episode of Pokemon Fire Red back in 2012, I did the post game and then wrapped it up by porting all of my dudes over to Pokemon Home. I actually paused on getting that on getting that done. I need to keep working on getting all of our Pokemon brought into Pokemon Home from the various Nuzlockes and things, but there's a bunch of them that are in there. I'm hoping to finish that up at some point. See their point. I might agree. Golden is I've understood Golden to be like the definitive version of the game for sure. More so, like it is the definitive version of the game, like more so than Fess for 3, which is like mostly considered the definitive version, but is technically missing a little stuff. And Persona 5 Royal, which like is like different, I guess, from the original sort of, which is confusing. But yeah, no, we're gonna do Golden starting on Tuesday. Link's Awakening versus CJ and I are talking about it. We're figuring out plans for it. I had mentioned somewhere online like a month ago that the like moving on to being a lot more of an involved situation that I kind of not obviously it was complicated. I was expecting to be complicated. I was expecting to have a little bit more flexibility than I wound up having, I guess would be the way to put it. And so a lot of stuff fell by the wayside. And like at some point around Thanksgiving, I started kind of going, okay, we're obviously not going to get all these done before the end of the year. My goal internally, I'm not making this an official thing or anything, but my personal goal is I would like to get these more or less cleared by the 13th anniversary of the D-pad in April. I think that's kind of like my new goal for those. Still putting focus onto these to get them done. Link's Awakening versus really should be a thing that happens by April. Like I'm trying to get it done probably in February, would be my guess. I was hoping to have it be our third and final stack up stream of the year to try to push to get that $1,000 so we could send a crate of gear out, but that is not going to happen at this point. But there's always next year. We'll try again. Same goes for Extra Life. We will try again with that as well. Do you have a favorite Persona? Oh boy, it's been a couple years now since I played 3. And so many of them I only played one. So many of those Personas I really only saw like once or twice. I would really need to look at a list. I can't say that I have a favorite right now because I can only name like 4 or 5 of them. But when we get into 4, I'm sure it'll be a lot of like, oh yeah, this one, oh yeah, that one. And they'll be coming back. It'll be good. But yeah, Link's Awakening versus should be coming up sometime early next year. The best of the legendary, the best of the legendary Let's Play. I got started on that. I'm actually hoping to get the Ocarina one up on Sunday this week. That was one where I got it started and then unpaused stuff, and the stream VODs became an issue right then. I was like, I need to focus on this. I need to get those up. And the best of videos kind of fell by the wayside. Those are going to continue. If there's not one that goes up on Sunday, there will be one that goes up next Sunday. I'm making sure that it gets done. The Ocarina Majora randomizer, we have done the entirety of it, and it is beginning its uploads. The first 2 are online now. I had some fun making the intro for that. I want to see if I can figure out a higher res version of the clock face because it looks kind of junky really close there. But otherwise, I had some fun with that. I actually lost several hours at one point because I had been making a more manual version of the clock, and then Photoshop crashed and it didn't save any of my stuff. So I had to start over again. But this resulted in me getting actual textures from Majora's Mask 3D, so it's fine. Ultimately, this is a better version than the other one was going to be, so I'm fine with that. Kirby's Return to Dreamland Deluxe. We have picked that up again and finished the main game. I had already talked about this before. We're going to be jumping into Magolor Epilogue when we get back in January. Nightmare in the Dreamy Let's Play. We are fully caught up on that. In fact, I believe the Squeak Squad... Actually, did the Squeak Squad one go up yet? I think it did. Yes, that one already went up. Okay. Yes, so we are now fully caught up on that. And when we are done with Pokemon Violet, the Indigo Disc, and the Epilogue, we're going to be diving into Super Smash Bros. Brawl. So we will be continuing on that through 2023. I don't expect that we're going to finish the Nightmare streams in 2024. I don't expect we're going to be finishing the Nightmare streams next year, but I think we're going to be like close. It really depends. There's so much flexibility in so many of these things. I think Smash Brothers is going to take up more time than anything else. So we're gonna see how that goes. Supersonic Let's Play. We've already started doing. We've done more Sonic Rivals 2. We're going to be getting very close to finishing Sonic Rivals 2. We're also going to be putting up Sonic Superstars. I was hoping to be able to record with folks some Sonic Dream Team and some Murder of Sonic the Hedgehog, but we did not wind up having time. So those will be coming. We are going to cover those on the sooner side of things, especially with Sonic Dream Team being an Apple Arcade thing, which is annoying. But also, I don't trust it to stay there for very long. So I want to get my hands on that while we still have a chance. And then Murder of Sonic the Hedgehog, we will come around to that pretty soon as well. Nightmare in Brawl will include all stickers and trophies. Essentially Nightmare in Smash Brothers Brawl is 100% trophy completion, which unfortunately includes all of the stickers, all of the CDs, all of the what was it, the little retro game things. There was like one more thing that was like really fucking frustrating that was in there. But I have an extremely elaborate checklist that I have constructed. I literally built this checklist like a year ago in anticipation of Brawl. I have also built one for Smash 3DS. I'm in the midst of building one for Smash Wii U. And then we'll continue to build the Smash Ultimate one, which I believe will at least be a smaller list ultimately. So that'll be a whole thing when that comes back. Supersonic Let's Play. Yeah, we've got some of those there. The Mega Let's Play post game. I'm expecting to have videos up for that before the end of the year. That is the goal. We're gonna see how that goes. I am planning to have those up next week, basically. So we will be continuing on that. We have a really interesting sequel that will be turning up immediately after Street Fighter Cross Tekken. So that'll be interesting. We've been kind of putting off recording that just because, like, that's going to be a lot, and Star Force has kind of been a big thing for us. But I had heard about that Ocarina of Time, it is possible if you are extremely fast, you can do, I think you do like the Goma door glitch, and you can just fucking barely get it in time. Let's see. Final Fantasy VII, we got like one episode up, two maybe, and then like we've had John here like once since then, and he was kind of one of the main folks for that. So I don't know. I think as things clear out and we just have people in general, we will just continue. I don't know if we can afford to wait for John on that. Just Shapes and Beats. Similarly, I think that's going to be the group game that we fall to when we're done with Sonic Superstars and Kirby's Return to Dreamland Deluxe. It was nice having Dustin there for that. He is on the mend from a medical thing, and my understanding is he's doing better, which is good. So hopefully we'll get to see him again soon. Here's an awkward one. Adventures of Sonic the Hedgehog. I don't know if we're going to be able to properly do that as a D-pad and chill. I think D-pad and chill, there's a very high probability that D-pad and chill is going to have to end. At the very least in the format we have it right now. If we start doing bad movie nights, there's a possibility there. But I think D-pad and chill is probably going to have to end. We have been having... So historically we had a lot of issues with... I say historically, we have been trying to put up D-pad and chill coverage of Sonic Prime since the first episode went up, and they're about to do season 3 in like 2-3 weeks. It's been a big problem. Wild Brain has been generally pretty solid with us. They were the folks behind Mega Man Fully Charged, which most of those videos were, it did the like monetized by claimant kind of thing, which is totally fair. That is a thing that I am totally understanding of and generally agree with. I don't have any issue with that. My big thing has always been like, hey, if we can have the video up, that's really all that matters. We're happy to let you keep the monetization for that. And like in the grand scheme of things, we kind of found out later on that like the views that we got on those videos were like double-digit percentage as much as the episodes were actually getting on television too. So like, you know, not in the sense of like, hey, you kind of need us, like nothing like that, but it's like I get the feeling that Wildbrain was kind of like, hey, if it gets more eyes on the show, it could keep the show alive, which I was also hoping would be the case. But honestly, we had a pretty good, working relationship there. And then so Wildbrain also is in control of the copyright for Adventures of Sonic the Hedgehog. That one has also been, generally speaking, the video is allowed to go up, but it's monetized by Wildbrain, which is fine. I don't have any issues with that. Again, it worked for a while, and then Sonic Prime came around, and things kind of changed. Not with Wildbrain, but with Netflix. Netflix is fiercely protective of their video content, understandably so, but I have made at least 35 separate edits to our D-pad and chill of the first episode of Sonic Prime, and every single one of them has been copyright struck, like struck down, cannot be viewed, to the point where I want to say the original video, I'm trying to remember how long, I think the original video was like 25 minutes long. The most recent edit is like 14 minutes long. Like, I'm just slicing off chunks at this point. And I legitimately don't know if Netflix will allow it to go up ever, no matter how much is chopped out of it. And then I had gone to take a look at this by looking at the copyright zone in my YouTube studio, and come to find out, a number of the old Adventures of Sonic the Hedgehog videos are also blocked in the US right now because of some new company that I assume Wildbrain has contracted with. That's essentially a like media protection management company or something. Yeah, so that's the thing, is like I am trying to look into it. I don't know 100% whether that company is legit or not. I currently don't have any reason to believe that it is not legitimate. So like that's kind of where that's at. I have thought about putting the original versions of all of these up on dpad.fm and putting a page together with redirects for a couple reasons. One, I do just want these to go up in general. Two, I want the folks at Wildbrain to see it. The folks at the various studios that worked on Mega Man Fully Charged were actually like jazzed up to see our reactions to their episodes, and I was really, really excited to do the same thing with Sonic Prime. And I would love for them to be able to see that. Like, we found out through the grapevine that literally, because our video would usually go up on like Sunday, and we were finding out through the grapevine, either Sunday or Monday, we would find out through the grapevine that folks would show up to work and just kind of be chatting with each other, and then someone would ask like, "Hey, have you seen the D-pad video on the episode yet?" And someone would be like, "No, shh, don't tell me," and they would run off to their desk to go and watch it. And that's like so flattering and so like awesome, and I was so proud of that, and I want really badly to give that back again to them. So like I'm gonna figure out something. The D-pad and chill videos will get edited, and they will go somewhere. They'll probably go onto the D-pad website, onto a little hacked up page, just to host them in just kind of some way that they can be watched. What I'm a little concerned about is if doing this could potentially incur the wrath of Netflix. There's a real non-zero chance that if word got around at one of the studios and someone, was not into that, which it would be understandable if they weren't, that I could find myself hearing from Netflix's lawyers or something. So like I'm really hesitant because I don't know. I mean, worst case, not worst case. I am not a lawyer. I don't know the worst case. My guess of the worst case scenario would be that one day I get a letter in the mail that is a cease and desist, right? and the video's got to come down. Um, at which point, I mean, fuck it. I'll burn them to a DVD and mail them to a couple of the animators that I know at this point, just so that they can have them and they won't go anywhere else online or something. My plan going forward is I would still like to watch and record reactions. One or both of two things is going to happen. One, that's the thing, right? It could be worse. They could literally just skip the C&D altogether and go damages time. It's totally a possibility, you know. So, so that's the thing is like, so one or both of two things is going to happen. One, I am planning on instead doing seriesly reviews of the 3 individual seasons of Sonic Prime, and possibly all of the cartoons individually as that happens also. Those could be a long ways out, to be clear. That may also be a problem. Historically we've had issues with the Battle Network and Star Force anime, even as reviews, when they are fully covered under fair use against copyright. So like, no promises that will solve this problem. It may literally do nothing. The other thing that we may do in conjunction with this, and I don't want to promise this, it is really, really dependent on a lot of factors, but there's a possibility of us essentially streaming like D-pad and chill and U style to the Discord server, where it can be witnessed and people can have fun with that, and then it kind of gets tucked away in there, and then I hang on to stuff and I either do like a souped up version of things or whatever. I really don't know on that one. I don't want to make any promises because that's so up in the air, and it's been a lot to try to deal with and figure out. So I've been trying to not like go too far. Also, just the holidays have been a lot, so I've been trying to like focus on other stuff. But my hope is that I will have some kind of idea in mind by the time Sonic Prime Season 3 is over. I am trying to see about getting a seriesly review of Season 1 together to coincide with Season 3, and then kind of go from there. So we'll see what happens. I don't know. So that's where Adventures of Sonic the Hedgehog and Sonic Prime are at. Kingdom Hearts Key and Unchained Key. So we got Kingdom Hearts Key done. There were like 2 or 3 separate weekends where we almost got Unchained Key taken care of, and we just did not wind up sitting down to do it, including literally last weekend. We almost did that last Saturday. That one's going to be early January. Not early January. It's going to be early year, January, February, and then we're going to be plowing into the last bits of pre-Kingdom Hearts 3 material. Basically the first opportunity we have to do Unchained Key, we're going to do it because I want to get through it. I want to get to the next actual game, and our schedule is slowly but surely starting to clear up. I had mentioned Crown Tundra earlier. That one we're kind of still figuring out if we're going to, wait for days where Ben can come down to do those, or if we're just going to continue and finish it out. Robot Rumble, it comes down to John's scheduling. That one's just kind of tricky. We've chatted about possibly doing it remotely. That may be the possibility. That might be the solution that we have to go with, but it does mean like figuring out when he can have, several hours, because those take like 4 or 5 hours to film. So when we can have a couple hours at a time there, and it's really better to do it in one sitting. We did one. I think the last one we had to do in 2 sittings for some reason. And it really didn't feel right. It definitely felt awkward kind of coming back and trying to finish that. So I want to do it all in one sitting going forward. Pokemon Rival Sibling Rivalry. Those streams have been going up. That series is getting close to done. Ironically, we're at the same pause point there as we are in Brilliant Diamond Shining Pearl, which is Dave and I have both completed our 8th gyms, and John and Jeff are like on the brink of getting their 8th gyms taken care of. And in both cases, as soon as that's taken care of, it's onward to Victory Road and to the ending. Pokemon Rivals Insurgents. So that was one that I was hoping to spend more time prepping Originally, when I put that down, I had all of the raw files for things, except as it turns out, a really deep-seated piece of data that represents your save file, which just straight up went missing off the old laptop that we had recorded it on. So I'm still digging through old hard drives on the off chance it just happens to be somewhere in there. But if not, I am going to have to either replay the game as a Nuzlocke, replay the game not as a Nuzlocke and just do it manually, just manually apply the rules as I as I go after that. It is nice to have the game automated, though, to be dead honest. Or two, there are some means of hacking the game live. Unfortunately, I am still gonna have to play the game either way, but there's not a ton of options. Like PK Hex doesn't work. To my understanding, PKX does not work because it is not a it is not treated the same. Like, the game data is not stored the same way as anything else. And like the database it has wouldn't have some of those Pokemon in the first place, and it's kind of a whole thing because it's a game maker game as opposed to an actual like modded Pokemon game, and I think that's kind of the big hang up there. The inbuilt rules actually soft locked you. Oh, did it like faint all of your Pokemon or something? Like, what happened with it? But when Insurgence comes back, we're going to be beginning Disc 3 because we finished the second act of 3 fighting the Gen 5 dragons. Somehow my Nuzlocke is still alive. I'm honestly fucking stunned that I have not fallen out of the Nuzlocke yet. There's an obvious and non-zero chance that I'm going to lose the Nuzlocke very quickly once we start up again, just due to unfamiliarity. But honestly, if I replay the game once or twice, then there's the possibility of just continuing it, like, and actually surviving. So I don't know. The Complete Odyssey. This is another one that's been like just barely not recorded several times now. That one is probably going to happen in the pretty early part of the year. It's just been a matter of we've had so many other things to record, and anytime we've had enough people, it's been like, oh, we should record one of these things that has a lot of people to it. Sonic Superstars, Kirby Return to Dreamland Deluxe, Star Force 3. So the Complete Odyssey will continue, will properly fully begin. Pretty sure they cheat. I've heard rumors that the Elite Four straight up cheats, so I'll be very curious how that one's going to work. Revived to the center, all of my Pokemon are fainted. Oh, that's not good. Yeah. Huh. Ooh, interesting. Yeah, that's really bad. Hopefully that has been fixed since then. Yeesh. Yikes. Yeah, I'm nervous about the last act of the game. Got two more gym battles, and whatever the end chunk of the game is going to be. But that was a bug. Yeah, no, it sounds like that is definitely an unintended consequence there for sure. But yeah, the Complete Odyssey is going to be coming back. I already mentioned Persona 4 Golden is going to be happening. I'm going to skip that one for right now. Special Delivery. We had our second Special Delivery stream. I was hoping to have Link's Awakening Versus actually be a third Special Delivery stream as well, but it didn't wind up happening. It might be one next year anyway, but we'll see. Yes, and there is post-game as well. That's true. Extra Life 2023. We did the Jackbox games. That has gone up. It was very exhausting. We did not get through all the cupcakes, and there were some interesting fillings that did not get seen. So we may hang on to some of that for the next time around for those. The Ultimate Wii U is another one that we have most of the materials for already, and it's just been a matter of timing. Somewhere off screen, like right around there-ish, behind that set of boxes, is a pile of Wii U games and a couple boxes as well. There's some that have peripherals and things. But that is hopefully going to be... That might actually be something that we do... let's see. Let me just take a quick look here. Yeah, that might be something we do immediately after the anniversary stuff in... Oh, actually, wait a minute. Yes, yeah. That might be something we do immediately after the anniversary stuff in... or right before it. I guess we'd be putting out the videos right afterwards, but right as the Wii U servers shut down is I think when we're going to try to time those. So that might be like a March thing instead. So we'll see. But yeah. The Monstrous Let's Play. I've had the first 2 of 4 games for that recorded for months now. And the only reason that I haven't gotten further along with it is because I want to really sit down and soak in the other 2. And I, at very few, I shouldn't say no, at very few points since August have I actually been like, I'm ready to like give this like my full attention and really be like ready for it. That should be something that'll be a lot easier to do after vacation. I'll at least be able to get into the 3rd one very quickly, and the 4th one not long after that. There'll be a review, and we will continue, and it'll be good times. D-Pad After Dark. This one is one that like I've actually kind of gone back and forth on whether I actually want to go through with it in general. I want to, but I also am like, man, that is a commitment, and I don't know if I really want to or can commit to like a recurring thing like that, where it's like the ideal would be it would be a weekly show of some kind. Hypothetically, could even be a replacement Tuesday, Thursday kind of thing or something. But I don't know that I necessarily want to commit the same night, because the original idea would be that it'd be a weekly thing, and I thought like, maybe I do it like bi-weekly, every other week or something. I was like, that's hard to get people like focused in on if they got to remember if it's an on week or an off week, that kind of thing. So like, I don't know. I know what I want the show to basically be, but I don't know how I feel about the commitment to it. The more that I've thought about it since moving, basically, my mind might change on that. We will see. That's the likeliest one of these things to just not happen. The rest of these are all gonna happen in some capacity or another. But that's the one that's like the biggest question mark. The only one that is left on this list that I haven't talked about is the games. The games, this time around, I had gone with something pretty experimental, and I don't want to discuss the details of it yet. There's a lot of secret stuff for it that I want to hold on to for now. The intent of the 3rd games was to be a fall series, and I think what is going to have happen, what we're going to do, is we're going to postpone it fully to be to coincide with the Summer Olympics of 2024, timing wise. I think we're just going to totally bypass fall. Like obviously we're fall 2023 has literally just ended. Or actually, wait, hang on a second. Last day of fall. No, not meteorot. Oh my god. Oh yeah, it was yesterday. Was the last day of fall. So yeah, today is the first day of winter. So we are fully officially outside of fall. So there's a lot of we've got more teams this year, and planning and coordinating wound up being a tricky thing in a few ways. None of this is like there's none of this that's like any kind of like fault or anything like that. At least not for anybody that joined in. There's been organizational struggles on my end. There's been a lot of delays from folks and from teams that we've been trying to work on ironing out. So I think we're just kind of we're basically hitting the snooze button. We're going to reset the clock, and we are going to be bringing the 3rd games. What is that? The end of July into the start of August. So that gives us another 7 months to put this thing together. And I really, really want it to be good. It's one of those series that I really tried to put extra effort into the production value for, if I can. And there are elements of the first 2 games that I really want to up the ante on and really want to fix the just kind of vibe in general for, and like I want the graphics to look sharper. I want the videos to be crisper. I want the challenges to be more interesting. There's one event that has not had any participation. Like no one's done their run of one of them yet. And I'm debating swapping it out with something else, just because as I've been doing test runs I'm not the competitor for this particular event, but I've been doing test runs and I'm like, is this event boring? Is this event just boring? So I'm debating whether or not to swap that out. So that might be a thing that happens. I don't know for sure. We're gonna find out, but um, the comments I've received from the teams and the players that they actually really like this set of events, which makes me very happy. Um, it's definitely like it's going to feel a little bit strange as a summer games thing because literally the theme of this set of games is fall. Literally just fall. The word fall is a big theme for this set of games. So it'll be a little interesting, but I don't know. We've got some potentially rather big names attached to it in different capacities. There is still room for more to jump on as well, so we're going to see how that is going. I think our goal is that we're going to be recording the rest of the runs over the course of January through like March. And then we are going to be handing things off to our commentators as we get them, as we get the events done. And then there should be another announcement about it coming when that is in firmer shape. My goal would be to have an announcement for it in like April, but we will see. We'll see. I don't want to rush things. I want things to be like really set in stone. Both of the first two sets of games had me actively editing some of the events the day before the video went up. And in some cases collecting audio from folks who were super gracious and amazing to do audio commentary on super short notice to get a video up the next day. So I really, really, really am doing my best to have this stuff done further ahead of time so we can give the commentators more time so that I can then take stuff and make a nicer looking set of videos at the end of it. So we will see. We will see how that goes. I think that's everything. I think that's the full sizzle list. We should be getting through more than half of them by the end of the year, which is pretty great. And then, yeah, the other half, almost all of them will be happening in the like 2 or 3 months at the start of the year. So that'd be pretty cool. And yeah, we got some good stuff. I am running the marathon for my team again, and I have to do practice runs of this one. It is not a game. It is not a game that I have ever played before, actually. So I have to get some practice in, and then I'm going to wind up recording a real run of it sometime at the start of the year. So it'll be pretty good. But yeah, feel free to if for anybody who is not, I think everybody in here is on the Discord, but feel free to throw theories of things into the Speculos channel. I always have a blast watching various speculation on stuff that's going on. Sometimes it is like, sometimes literally I see stuff and I'm like, oh, that would have been a really good idea. Fuck, how did I miss that? Other times I'm legitimately shocked at the prescience of some of you guys. Final Biscuit in particular has made some insane called shots to the point where I'm sure that it looks like it's been rigged to a couple people. But like, there was one year we did a console, like a micro console series, and the day we put up the unboxing, he called exactly what we were going to do for our final game. And we're like, wow, okay, well, all right, fair enough. Fair dues. So yeah, I don't know, but I think that's going to be it for tonight. This has gone a lot longer than it usually does, but we had a lot more to talk about. I really appreciate you guys coming and hanging out. Obviously, we got the link at the bottom, patreon.com/dpatfm. It's been a pretty good, it's been a pretty productive year. Good year in some ways as well, but also this has been a very difficult year in a lot of ways too. So there's even stuff, there's even stuff that I can't even really talk about yet that I'm really looking forward to talking about, but it is not time for that yet. But we have some cool stuff that is coming. We got through half the sizzle list, gonna get through about half of it at the start of the year. We got some cool stuff coming the rest of the year. I've got some really insane shit that I'm working on for the year after next. There's so much planning involved that I'm already in the middle of working on it now. So that'll be pretty good. I hope. It could be terrible. It could be a really terrible idea, or pair of ideas, I suppose. I have 3 completely insane ideas that are in the midst over the next 2 years. So we'll see how that goes. Thank you very much, Nick. Yeah, no, I'm gonna do my best to try to get better. Hopefully, I'm not bedridden on Christmas. That'd be kind of a bummer. We'll see how things go. And yeah, I'm gonna get out of here. Thanks again, everybody. I'll catch you later. Have a good one, and happy holidays, and happy New Year, and bye.